Добрый вечер, извините. Welcome to another edition of As the Blade Turns. Well, my children, it is your David Spletnikov, and I have been overcome by the reality of Russian nationals. You know, from the days of Jennifer Kirk, we always said we like to keep it real on the skating lesson. And we have Maxim Trenkov saying to Tarasova and Morozov, "What the fuck are you laughing about? You mix up the support again." Then we have Tiffany Zahorsky taking smelling salts as she gets off the ice, only to get fucked over by Eteri Tutberidze and her politics. You know, Russian nationals is the most real. We have Annabelle Morozov running out of the kiss and cry. I loving it all so much. So much. Only Eteri Tutberidze can make sure the referee is going to deduct from this girl, Sofia Muravyova, from Angels of Plющенko. And while we don't know if Eteri did it herself, well, it certainly benefited her athlete, who looks like a shadow of her former self. Well, part 2. The continuation of the interview of one of the most successful and private coaches in the country in the popular TV program on Channel 1, the nation's chief outlet for propaganda, aired the second part of this interview. The most successful figure skating specialist in recent years gave an extensive interview to Channel 1. In the second part, they covered injuries in figure skating, the personal life of athletes, for which Tutberidze may not be included, Medvedeva's silver medal, Zagitova's training, Tarasova and Morozov, and why there is no men's single skating in Russia. Here's what you can hear in the newscast, which aired on Thursday. Eteri, how are you enough for everyone? The programs, they're skated by Sasha, right next to Anna. You're watching them all. Well, you see, you spread your arms to the sides, and you can see both hands. You can't hide on it. I watched this moment. You are talking with someone, and in the background, someone is jumping. Probably. This is professionalism. To see everyone. Remember who did what. Are you a robot? No. It's fantastic. Seems to me this is how everyone works. I'm pretty sure. What about raising the age limit? I think about the girls who have just graduated from juniors. Maya Hromich, Daria Usashova, Kamila Valieva. And these girls, can you imagine, would skate on an equal footing with the children? And they are already girls. They are already formed, such girls. And they would skate on equal terms. This, it seems to me, is murder of minors. I could not imagine them skating in juniors. How it would humiliate them. Maya Hromich would have come out. "Hello, girls. I don't know why Terelpinski never bothered anyone before." Didn't it bother you? It started to be embarrassing when it became widespread. Alena Sotnikova won the first championship of Russia at the age of 13. Was she not embarrassed? And what is embarrassing about it now? Now at the age of 13, they no longer come out. There is already a ban at the Russian nationals. The bar has already been raised here. Editor's note. Eteri wanted Sofia Akatieva to compete here, and after seeing the less than inspiring performances by Trusova, by Shcherbakova, by Tuktamisheva, Tutberidze had a point. Certainly would have made Tutberidze look better, even if it made the Olympians look worse. Well, often not, these accusations are heard, these vivid statements that Eteri puts youngsters on the podium. Accusations! This means that Zhenya Medvedeva was also a youngster at the Olympics. And who is our adult? Who are these aunties? Tell me who your aunt is. I don't want to offend anyone now. This is a poignant moment. Who is the aunt? Well, maybe they're not aunts. What's the matter then? If she is, for example, an adult, maybe she did not spend her other years so intensively, and therefore became an adult? Think about Alena Savchenko. How many years she was gone? Maybe she was gone almost 4 years. Listen, why has Alena Savchenko, who has gone through 5 Olympics, that is 20 years, and her performance increased. Why has she not complained for the last 8 years that there are youngsters next to her? Because she is a great athlete. There was not a single cry about this during the era of her skating. Well, they write about you that Eteri has a long bench of ready-made skaters. I read that everything is in order with us. A long bench. I don't like that at all. Nobody sleeps. They have exactly the same long benches. Japanese women all jump exo, and already quadruples. And the American women are jumping. There is no need to relax. I will say this is bullshit by Tutberidze. Okay. First, she does not want to say that she has athletes who come with all of their triple-triples in the cascades because she wants to say that she is doing this work. But at the second time, if you ever read the comments from Russians when they are trying to insult us on the skating lesson, they will say, well, how are your Americans doing? Oh, you love the skating of the Japanese women so much. What quads are they doing? What quads is Huguchi jumping? Today, Eteri says they are jumping quad jumps, triple exo. Not quite the same, although they can actually skate. I digress. American women are not jumping. Sorry, Eteri, we have eyes. He continued. You select somehow. Yes, there is no selection. People are standing. Are we taking all over Russia? We do not select anyone. Nobody comes. Over the past year, maybe one girl came, one boy. 2 years ago, we decided to organize our own groups. Try to lead our own from 3 or 4 years old, so that we ourselves have someone there. But in my head there is such that Tutberidze is a brand, and she should be looking. Are there lines to her? Not. Where do you get them? We don't. No. Again, bullshit. What about Svetlana Panova? What about... This is great situation, Eteri. Loving you. We don't. No. I guess it changes my whole worldview. Parents of talented children. What are talented children? I don't understand what a talented person is. Apparently, a child who has a data for this sport. It's easy to skate. Is it a talent? I don't know. Many do not know how to skate. How do you understand if a child is talented? Yes, there is no such thing. There is just some data for today, information. He sits down to the end, jumps up well, happily perceives the work. He runs, jumps, does not cry. So with a smile comes to the locker room. Here, yes, there are children who get scared and start crying. And the specificity of figure skating is such that there is space. There are extraneous noises, groups of 20 people. The coach shouts anyway. He doesn't shout at you. He speaks in a loud voice. This may frighten some children. You know, I skate at the ice house and there's a lot of loud voices going on. I just want to say. Here it is also important how he is prepared by his parents. He's scared, not scared. How he perceives criticism. You tell him, no, you fell down badly and everything is bad. He says, I don't want to study anymore. And they will cry. How else to train if you do not speak in a different tone? Well, do not shushy-pushy that you are 3 years old today. Well, my little one, well, please sit down, and tomorrow you are 5. Well, fall down. How is it? It doesn't work that way. You just have to have an even voice. Not all parents understand this. They are still young themselves, these parents. Many are being led away, or they even write complaints. The parents should take the side of the coach. If there is any conflict, misunderstanding, will come up separately, discuss. But it seems to me here that you have crushed my daughter. Let us suppose, discuss, but not in the presence of the child, so as not to break the credibility of the coach. It's the most important, Kaneshna, because we give a task, criticize, train, and all this should be in full confidence that everything should lead to the goal. How do you maintain good relationship with your parents? I have a joke. A good parent is the parent I don't know. This means that I have no problems With the athlete, I don't need to communicate with a parent. The parent must always get up and has to take the side of the child. Who else? But here the parent must understand that any criticism, even if, say, the first 5 minutes, 3 children on the ice, I say, go out. Maybe it makes sense to sacrifice this workout for the good of everyone else. Maybe I didn't like the attitude in 3 minutes. He might go out or sit still by the side and not appreciate the time spent training. Or not to warm up in the hall the day before. Here the parent should not say, why and why. It should be so. Accept this and bring up your child at home. It is important for me to bring up a parent here as well. Explain what he should be doing when bringing the parent to the ice. The child must be energized for training. Sometimes there is a moment when you are training, for example, with the younger group, and they are somehow unmotivated. Here's the truth. This is not on them. This is not in them. And you begin to understand that you are wasting your time. Maybe there are other athletes who gladly accept your knowledge. Instead of trying to dodge these assignments. There was a situation yesterday. The girl did not come to the warm-up. She sat in the lobby for some reason with her mother. I asked, why didn't you come to the warm-up? She doesn't really answer. I asked the mother, why didn't you come? The parent said that the child's legs got tired after a warm-up. Well, what is the mom here for? To make her go. In order to explain, it should be so. It should be so. You will adapt, get used to this load, and become stronger. This parent is underperforming. They just love their child, accepts it as it is. It may not work. Even with talent or some information. Without severity, you go nowhere. Yes, not strictness, the correctness of the parent. Do you understand at a glance that a champion can leave an athlete? No. Well, if absolutely, categorically, if some information does not correspond to this, I leave them with us for training and see how it works. It's great if they relax. Not when they come to the bride, so festive. And when they have already relaxed, and then they are natural. The child does not do enough. He hides somewhere, tries to be invisible. And you understand that if you include the child in the process, that you will have to waste energy to plow them, to let's jump. And I have 10 to 15 of these kids on the ice. Am I going to drive everyone like this? Now this child is 12 years old. And these efforts should be increased with age. What will happen by the age of 18? What needs to be done to irritate the child for the training process? I love them to be able to work independently. Why else do they come here? They came here not just to skate. They come to be made Olympic champions. Nothing else. If it seems to me that the process is difficult, I can refuse a good girl, a boy. But I could be wrong. And sometimes it happens that they understand that they were not taken. Here, they begin to interpret their figure skating in a different way. They begin to understand that they love this sport. They understand why. I always explain when I do not take. And then you look and they start to skate better. They learn to appreciate. Do you feel that parents want to decide for their children? I do not know. Maybe this is good. Let's go back. Lipницкая. Her mother brought her. Cost her a lot. They sold everything they had in Yekaterinburg, and they came here for their daughter. I don't know if she closed some of her own or what she did it for her daughter. I mean, what is the difference? They did it. Yulia is now living a different life from what could have been. When an athlete begins to win medals, and the higher the rank, everything starts to turn over. The feeling that it was me who led them to these medals, and how many generations, it's all the same. It's like in football. If they're good athletes, football players, there's a failure, it's the fault of the coach. Exactly. Da. Then there are more of those who consider themselves more important than you. They all become that way. I haven't met anybody else yet. Things don't always go smoothly. And the more difficult the path to the goal, the more valuable the medal itself. How do you teach girls who are small, who are young? They don't have any kind of life experience. Thank God they do not have this experience. It was like this with Polina Shelepen. You start to explain. You ask, have you ever lost anything? She replies, no, never. I even had envy. I thought, great. You try to explain something through the loss of someone or something. Even on Shcherbakova's program last year, she was also asked the question, well, did you lose something? A dog. How many years she was with her? You learn how to convey these feelings. I tell them all the time. If you touch the hole, the skating hole, tell a story. Everyone in the hole has their own story. This is not necessarily what you skate about, but each person themselves will supplement this story with one from their own life. How can you explain Schindler's List to Yulia Lipnickaya? Every gesture was explained. It worked. We need to tell this story. I teach them that the audience should read the book. Every gesture is a word. Tell me when to look at the camera. Not. The judges are your audience, for whom you tell the story. They are your audience. Don't look away, but penetrate. Send energy. Well, who taught you? I need it. Should something be given? Let it. Are there those who want to skate the program themselves? Again. Yes. But now they are done. The latter were Alena and Evgenia. Were these girls sincere in front of us? Well, in front of the cameras they want to be beautiful. Correct? Maybe it's true that the Olympic medal is the goal. Well, I would not do this, all for the sake of the Olympic medal. Now I will touch upon the question of Evgenia Medvedeva. Yes, she became a silver medalist in Pyeongchang. Listen, silver. Prior to that, she had endured all the competitions for 2 years. Do you understand that some athletes do not get those kinds of results? You have to appreciate what you have. I must say, Lord, thank you so much. With all the injuries we faced this season, not everything went smoothly. But the more difficult the path, the more valuable the medal themselves. You can't take off the medal. You can't be dissatisfied. No. Again, I will call bullshit on this, because for Eteri it is very easy to appreciate the silver medal of Evgenia because she has the gold medal for Alena Zagitova. But let's say the gold medal went to Caitlin Osmond. How happy you think she would be about silver for Evgenia? I digress. It seems to me that the fans congratulated Evgenia almost more than Alena Zagitova. Tarasova sure did. Well, the path was more difficult. I absolutely agree. It was longer and more difficult. But many do not even get it. Not even but this one. Take Alena Zagitova. She really had to work to be in shape. From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. be at the rink. She went to the gym. She warmed up. Exercise therapy, choreography, ice. That is real from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. She had to have a 12-hour day to be in shape. And if she came to this medal in this way and put her body in such order, then she will not have any other way. That means she has to work so much. Some may need 5 hours. Some need 12. And of course, they sometimes think, well, it's hard, really, that I'm just going to skate for 5 hours now like the others. And then suddenly once it does not work. It just doesn't work. I heard that Nathan Chen just comes, does his elements, goes to college, study, writes notes, goes out again. Look, well, that's great if that's the case. But someone is wrong. Someone needs to plow at least half to approach his result. Well, do you give marks for garlic? Well, no. I exhibit the way they put it. I was a technician. The skill remained with me. As they judge, so I paint them. It is very right when a parent picks and looks. And the parents do not understand where they are twisted. Ask the child, did they do everything? All 4 levels? On a piece of paper I write something. Zagitova's grandmother always came up and looked at my training papers. And if there was a bad piece of paper, then Alena hid it. but the grandmother got it all the same. How do you manage to always keep yourself? Basically, I believe in the way we work, as we are ready. There are accidents, but why be nervous? We must go and do it. Well, why do you need trainings? Is it such an internal challenge? Listen, this is not a challenge. The guys go into a difficult situation. They were left without ice. They've been looking for ice all last season. Of course, this influenced their results and their work in general. Now they have an Olympic season. Probably this is their last hope. They humanly asked us to let them in, and how they put them on the ice is impossible. So it was necessary to find an opportunity to give them separate ice. So we have one pair, Tarasova and Morozov. Further, God forbid, a separate skating rink will be built. There will be more ice, more opportunities. And it will actually be possible to develop the second type, pair skating. Why not? Well, how is it going with the skating rink? Hard, but there are always difficulties with construction. But we moved this car. I don't know how it will be built, but at least we started. Will it be your base? I don't want to leave this base either. Will we see your boys in Beijing? Listen, boys are more difficult. The truth is more complicated. Here is Yulia Lipnickaya, Alena Zagitova, and now the next group of girls. They can be motivated. You say, do you want to take place in life so that your children are the children of some famous mother? You have your own apartment. They understand this. Boys don't think about the future. It is impossible to motivate them to do this so that their own children can live better. Well, how is it? Aren't there at least 3 people to occupy the pedestal? Well, we have no boys. Я не знаю. Я не понимаю why our boys are happy about some strange results. Today I was able to enjoy my skating for the first time since the athlete who landed in the 5th place. And everyone expected that he would at least be on the podium. But why? Ask yourself to do more. You can. Maybe the coach should be angry and ask, you raise yourself so that you are the weaker sex. Well, usually yes. When families break up, the dads run away. Well, yes, men are somehow weaker. We raise our boys in such a way that they are weaker. And everyone, they piously believe in it. We are weaker. We must not fight here. Well, life is shorter for men. Well, maybe you just need to somehow change the attitude toward boys if we want to raise men. Do you follow a diet? No, I'm not following my diet. But I weigh. We must weigh ourselves every day. It's always easier to solve the problem at the initial stage, when it's only 2 to 3 kilograms and you need to lose weight, and not when it's 200 to 300 grams. Well, 200 grams... Well, wait. If today it is 200 and tomorrow is 200 extra grams, what will happen in 10 days? What if nothing happens? Better. 300 grams is nonsense, right? Put a carton of milk in your pocket and run. This is what happens when an athlete loads his body more than is necessary. Injuries, muscles, ligaments, fatigue. And then we say, a fatigue fracture, stress fracture. Well, that means I trained a lot. Or maybe you let go of the weight. Lost weight, let go again. Lost weight again. You begin to under-rotate because of the weight. Fatigue. Well, and not because of the insane training. Well, this is weight. At least it can be controlled. What about growth? Very carefully. The bone grows. It stretches. For a while, it is hollow inside. It is necessary to be careful with the loads. Plus, the muscles do not have time. The momentum is slower. You have to wait. This is not a contradiction. What happens at the peak of the competition, of course, it's bad. Here, do not hang yourself a sign. I am growing. You went out with everyone. I do not know. I find them harder to work with as they grow up. They grow up in the form and it needs to be kept. Is it easier with the older ones? I think yes. Nothing changes. I like how Eteri thinks. First of all, she does not know. She has no older ones. You know exactly what kind of athlete you will have in 2 weeks or a month. And here you do not know who he is in him, dad or mom, how tall he will be. And when all of this is in the course of the season, now, for example, Sofia Akatieva, she grew up. Here we need to be more careful. We need to avoid injuries. And we are skating a lot. Figure skating has grown so much. Unfortunately, every jump can be extreme. And here it's not a question of load or improper training. Here everything is together. Sometimes fatigue, sometimes lack of concentration. I slept poorly at home, did my homework until 1 a.m., as if these girls go to school, and was upset about something. We can go up the stairs, lose concentration, and fall. Does your personal life prevent you from achieving success? If athletes train as they should have no personal life. I'm talking about those whom age permits. Well, all the same, it is practically non-existent. Well, maybe if they're dating someone, I don't know about it. Generally, yes. Well, there is such a mythology that the coach is a despot and forbids. Я не знаю. I don't get into this at all. The last athlete who shared with me, and I did not even give advice, only express my opinion, was Evgenia Medvedeva. Everything. As a coach of youngsters, juniors, why do I go there? We don't have such problems. What about the guys that say it does not bother them? Everything interferes. They begin to adjust to someone else's schedule. Are there secrets you do not want to share? Which ones? Technical ones. Let's say I see a jump. A person has fallen, and I know the error for sure. Seems that I would correct. I can discuss with Sergei Dudakov or with Danya Glейхенгауз, but I don't give it out. It's greed. Although God commanded me to share. How do you feel about complaints about improper judging? There are constantly some kind of complaints. Everything is not so. As soon as an athlete begins to say this is the beginning of the end. Even if the coach picks it up, when the coach says we were condemned, it means that he does not see the ways of the correction. And if the athlete speaks, he will not progress. He looks for an error not in himself, but in the system. Well, they say that Tutberidze churns out youngsters. Is it politics? It is nonsense. I do not understand that our compatriots complain about the rules and hate more than foreigners. For what? Is it lack of patriotism? Or what? This is not clear to me. I'm trying to abstract myself. More criticism comes to us. Is it theatrical intrigue of some kind? Yes, it is some nonsense. All the time I want to say, this time will enter the circus arena. Who? And the next one. And just so to speak, some journalist or blogger suddenly speaks out about the programs. Oh, Eteri is mad about Jonathan Bayer. This is amazing. Have you developed a recipe for dealing with star fever? No. I'm trying to explain by examples that now you are trying to allow yourself to exert 50% less than you did yesterday. This is star fever. I'm trying to explain it. It seems to you that you're already there. You know everything, and so you will do it. This is mistake. Does it bother you that the skaters' names are a brand? Alena Kostornaia is a brand. Sometimes, being some kind of a brand, you don't realize it. Half of them are unaware. Well, Eteri is at least 40% aware of the brand. Does Anya Shcherbakova not understand? Anya understands. She's very intelligent. I have never heard a bad word from her all the time that we have been working. I have had her since an early age. Somehow, to answer, no, there's no such thing. Do you hear bad words from the others? Well, in general, yes. Sasha, she's her own person in a way. She's not bad. There will be no emotions from Annie. She may not like something, but she will restrain herself. She has character. Let's see how she handles the copper pipes. I too really wanted to manifest itself so that everyone at the right time and at the right hour could be able to skate to their maximum. So that there is a real fight. And not just so that one did not have time, the other did not be able to realize their potential. Who is Kamila Valieva to you? Just a girl who has a lot of talents. Wait, pause. Didn't Eteri say that talent didn't exist? Anyway, I digress. She is just a girl who has a lot of talents, who is suitable for this type of activity. She's flexible and stretched to convey the image. She feels the music. She's interested in skating and character. On skating, she possesses a sense of posture, jumping. Well, I saw how she grew up. Just imagine that we would send Kamila to the juniors now to compete with children. Alena is a difficult girl, but she's cool. She's alive. She's real. She wants to try everything in this life. And all by herself. But here is the Olympic year, and it is the only one in your life. Or maybe not. What laws apply to Sasha Trusova? She's a very bright child. Precisely a child. I don't know what she'll be like when she grows up, but she is pure and light. She sparks of energy, light. I really want her to succeed. She deserves it. She's stubborn and goes to it. There are no lies and no deception. I'm not saying that this is bad. I want her to succeed. What about her being called the Russian rocket? In my opinion, she does not mind. But the girls did not like it when they were called TSCHK. Each of them wanted to be a separate letter. Perhaps the fact that they flew in different directions is due to the fact that they wanted to be separate. Who is your main competitor now? If we are talking about the girls who will fight for the Olympic team at the Russian Championships, each of them is probably a competitor by itself. They're strong enough. What are your plans after Beijing? To hold positions? Not get there, but to hold on to our positions. Do you feel like the most demanded coach? No. I understand perfectly well. The higher we climb, the greater the demand. People believe and wait. Do you see yourself on a pedestal next to the girls? No. I try to keep this moment for myself and to thank God, no matter what level the medal is. Well, I think about Eteri's girls. I think about Anna. I think about Kamila. And I think about Sasha. And I think, my God, girls, please, make sure Eteri thanks God. Make sure that Eteri is not thanking God for a bronze medal for Tuktamisheva tomorrow, as she understands that to not sweep the medals will be considered a failure in Russia and for around the world, because the more she climbs, the greater the demand. People are believing, and they are waiting for Tutberidze to sweep the podium at the Olympics. And though Tutberidze just understands, it's just not saying that she needs to do it. She understands this is what the people want. So please, Trusova, when you're trying triple axel tomorrow, завтра, please land it so that Eteri can thank God, no matter what level the medal is. Спасибо. Пока.